السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله الذي جعل الشمس والقمر حسبانا والنجم والشجر يسجدان، فضل زمانا على زمان كما فضل إنسانا على إنسان ومكانا على مكان، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا وأعلانا وأولانا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. Welcome to Quranic Arabic Academy, Arabic Grammar Made Easy, lesson number 10D. بيسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد رسولا. That's a little bit of recap. We are learning the Jumla. The plural is Jumalun. There are two types of Jumla. One is Al-Jumlatul Ismiyatu. Number two, Al-Jumlatul Iliyatu. Jumla Ismiya is made of two parts or two slots. One is called Mubtada'un, and Mubtada is generally Ma'rifa. In terms of a'rab, Mubtada is Marfu'. The second slot is Khabarun. Khabarun normally is Nakira in terms of Ta'yin, definiteness, and in terms of a'rab it is Marfu'. In terms of al-naw, it has to match Mubtada. In terms of al-adad, it has to match Mubtada. So when we do make a sentence al-jumlatul ismiyatu, both parts mubtada'un and khabarun, we apply the four properties of ism wavelength, because jumla ismiya is made of isms, so we need to apply the four properties of ism. Then we've learned when additional words, we add some words to Jumla Ismiya to give us additional meaning. So one, we can use the kana wa akhawatuha or fi'lun naqisun. So if kana or laysa comes before Jumla Ismiya, the few changes. Number one, the name changed to ismu kana or ismu laysa. Khabar changes to khabru kana, khabru laysa. Also the i'rab of the khabru kana, khabru laysa changes to mansub, and the rest stays as it is. Next, we can add harfun mushabbahun bil fi'l, and we've learned there are 6 harfun mushabbahun bil fi'l. Inna, anna, ka'anna, lakinna, layta, la'alla. So when inna comes, again there's few changes in the jumla. The name changes to ismu inna and khabaru inna. Ismu inna, khabaru inna. Also the i'rab also changes to ismu inna. Ismu inna becomes mansub and khabaru inna becomes marfu'. Okay, so this is what we've done so far. And in the previous lesson, we've learned the third one we can add, which is adawatul istifham. Adawatul istifham. When in a group there's only one type of huruf, we just call them by name, like fi'l naqis and harfun mushabbahun bil fi'l. But when in a group we have two types of either we have a huruf and we have ism, so those we call it adawat. So in istifham we have two types. One type is huruf, another type is asma. So we call them adawat. Then we break into two. we talk about حروف استفهام. There's only two, so we're going to call it حرف الاستفهام وحرفان استفهام, and the rest is asma. So let's go through very quickly. In this lesson, we are continuing from the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we've done the حروف الاستفهام. In this lesson, we're going to do the asma al-istifham. Again, we have some words. We can turn these words into a interrogative jumla istifham. All we need to do is use the is a question word in English. This is a pen. This is a door. Okay, it's gone. So we also can. Sorry about that. I think I went so quickly. Yeah. So this is. Let's move on. Next, we can ask for example, human. And what is this? What is that? Who is this? Who is that? Who are these? Who are those? So last we are talking about adawat al-istifham. We talked about the two types, two huruf or two harf of istifham, that is hamza and hal. Hamza and hal. They're always mabni, and they have no slot in the jumla. So we say them la mahalla lahu min al-i'rab, because they are harf. All harf will have no slot in the jumla. Dawat al-istifham, a set of particles, which is huruf and asma, that comes before jumla ismiya to make jumla ismiya interrogative. We have harf al-istifham, there are only two, which is the hamza and hal. Next, we are going to do the asma istifham. They are total 11 asma istifham. Let's go through them. Ma, what, ماذا, also what. There's no difference between these two. We can use, we'll look in more details later on. If there are some differences, we'll let you know. Then man and mandha, both in terms of i'rab will be the same. كيف, أين, where, متى, when, أيانا, when, but this is for the future. أيانا is for the future. When, in the future. Anna, how is that? Where from? And ayu, which? And kam, how much? How many? So again, these are very important. We need to learn them. What is the difference between huruf al-istifham? Well, we don't say huruf al-istifham, we'll say harfani istifham. Yeah, harfan, maybe those are only two. And a small istifham. The difference is that harf al-istifham are used when the answer is yes or no. And a small istifham are used when the answer requires more details. Okay, we're going to make these small istifham into two groups. Two groups in terms of i'rab, because it'll become easy for us to do i'rab. Group number one is ماذا, okay, what, used for غير العاقل. So when we want to ask about something non-human, we use ma or mother. Number two, man, the, who, used for al-aqil, humans. So when we want to ask about a human, who, we use man, the. So in this group number one, number three, ayu, which, it's not ayya, is ayu. Now let me just change it. أي which, كم, how much, how many. So when doing اعراب, these اسماء الاستفهام, the group number 1 either will become the slot as مبتدا or as خبر مقدم. This is a new word or new term to us. خبر مقدم, fronted خبر. So in جملة اسمية normally is مبتدا, then we have خبر. But sometimes the خبر can be brought forward. So when the خبر is brought forward, we say خبر مقدم. خبر مقدم. Again, so I need to do the خبر مقدم. So if خبر مقدم, what will be the مبتدا? مبتدا is gone. مؤخر is delayed. مبتدا delayed. So the مبتدا is called مبتدا مؤخر. So we'll talk about this خبر مقدم a bit later on. Okay? So just to know, these groups of asma in terms of اعراب either will become the slot of مبتدا or in the slot of خبر مقدم. Group number 2, the rest. Again, group number 2, we can make further groups. Okay? So because we don't want to go into more details now, we leave it as it is. Later on, once we learn جملة فعلية and more things, that will be easy for us to make other groups from group number 2. So group number 2 is أين, where, used for place. Asking question, where about, place. Number 2, متى, when, used for time. أيانا also means when, used for time in the future. أن, how is that, where from. أي, which. And كيف, how, asking for about circumstance. So these are the group number 2. In terms of slots, it can be many things. So because we haven't learned other name of slots, so we're not going to go into more details about group number 2. We'll be concentrating in group number 1. So let's go through the group number 1 again. Okay, we'll come back to that. Group number 1, only 4 in this group. ماذا, used for غير العاقل, what. من ذا, used for العاقل, who. أي, which one. And كم, how much or how many, used for asking the price or asking about a number, العدد. Okay, so group number 1, أسماء الاستفهام, these can be either مبتدأ or either can be خبر مقدم. These also can be other slots because we haven't learned the name of those slots, so I'm not covering those at the moment. At the moment, because we covered مبتدأ, we covered the خبر, that's why I'm mentioning these two. And the new name for us now is خبر مقدم. خبر fronted or خبر brought forward. So if خبر is brought forward, مبتدا will be delayed. The مبتدا is called مبتدا مؤخر. مبتدا مؤخر. So understood so far? The group number 1. So we'll be talking more about group number 1. Group number 2, as we said, it can be the many slots, mainly in جملة فعلية, and because we haven't learned جملة فعلية yet and we don't know the parts of جملة اسمية, جملة فعلية, or the slots of جملة فعلية, so we will not cover this group number 2 in terms of اعراب in this lesson. In the later lessons, when we do جملة فعلية, then inshallah we'll cover these small istifham group number 2. So it's very important. Remember these groups. Total small istifham are 11. You learn all 11 and then make these 2 groups. As I said, group number 2 can be made further groups. But sometimes these can become in many other slots as well. So group number 2, أين, where, used for place. متى, when, used for time. أيان, when, used for time also, but in the future. أن, how is that possible? Like that, how is that? Where from? أي, which. كيف, how, asking about the circumstance. Next, the rules of حرف الاستفهام. The rules of أسماء الاستفهام. I should mention here the أسماء الاستفهام, right? So because we're doing the أسماء الاستفهام. Here is allows me, yeah. Right, so what we're going to do now is, because it's asma, because they are asma, there will be the part of the jumla. They will be in the slot. Yeah. So it brings no changes. It becomes a normal jumla اسمها مبتدا خبر. When a small istifham comes, we cannot say before, can we? No, right? So there is no rules for asma istifham. We'll just this out. We don't need that. Don't need that as well. Now we're just going to look at the jumla ismiya again. The both parts, mubtada and khabar. In terms of ta'yin, is ma'rifa, mubtada is ma'rifa, khabar is nakira. In terms of i'rab, mubtada is marfu, khabar also marfu. In terms of an-naw, khabar matches mubtada. In terms of al-adad, khabar is mubtada. So again, asma'ul istifham, because they are isms, so they can take one of the slots. And normally, asma'ul istifham, again, it can be in the slot of mubtada. It also can be in the slot of khabar. But group number 1, it only can be slot mubtada'un. But if group number 1 comes in the slot of khabarun, it has to be khabar muqaddam. It cannot be normal khabar. Okay? So you must bring the khabar forward. So because we haven't done khabar muqaddam yet, so I'm not going to give you examples of khabar muqaddam yet. So once we do khabar muqaddam, I'll mention the asma istifham. So we're just going to talk about mubtada for now. Okay. Using asma istifham with جملة اسمية, because we just have two parts, مبتدأ and خبر, مبتدأ and خبر. So let me just see the example. What is it? Yeah. Okay. When does first group like ما, من, ماذا, ما, yeah. So ما, ماذا, من, ماذا, and then أي and كم. When does these become a mubtada? So very simple rule to remember. Asmaul istifham, the first group will become mubtada if there is nakira word after it. If there is a nakira word after it. So we already have the translation. So let's do the in Arabic, who means human, man. We've got our mubtada, so we need to bring a nakira ism here. So man can be the mubtada. Otherwise, man also can be khabar muqaddam. Okay, I think I have one example for khabar muqaddam. We'll look at that later. So we need a nakira ism here. Nakira ism, let's use this one. Asdaq. Man asdaq, who is more truthful. So any ism that falls in the pattern of af'alu, those will be nakira. Af'alu, in the pattern of af'alu. So asdaqu, who is more truthful. It is part of a verse in the Quran. Man asdaqu min Allahi qila. So who is more truthful? The vocabulary we have learned so far, when we bring any nakira ism, it will not make sense. So I'm not giving any of those examples. So just remember, in the pattern of af'alu, those will be nakira. So how we do the i'rab? Because we know it is mubtada. The i'rab is man اسم استفهام مبني على السكون في محل رفع مبتدأ. So as I said, all these huruf and isms we are learning. So we need to mention the name first, and then at the end we mention the slot. So man اسم استفهام مبني على السكون, because on the last letter we see sukun. في محل رفع, the slot is rafa case, or the slot is rafa, sorry, not case, state, and that is mubtada. أصدق خبر مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. Okay, so the first group becomes mubtada when there is a nakira ism after it. Next example. I'm correct. So I'm going to use ma. هذا. هذا. So when we do tarkib, we say ma مبتدأ هذا خبر. ما مبتدأ هذا خبر. Now, after small istifham after the first group when ma'rifa comes. When ma'rifa comes. هذا is ma'rifa. The هذا is one of the 7 types of ma'rifa we've learned. So any 7 types of ma'rifa comes. So after a small istifham from the first group, ما ماذا من ذا أي كم. After this a small istifham ma'rifa comes, then it can be either mubtada'un or it can be either khabarun muqaddamun. Khabarun muqaddamun. So let's keep it simple. We want to do mubtada. So ma is mubtada, hadha khabarun. What is this? What is this? So let's look at the i'rab in full. So ma اسم استفهام مبني على السكون في محل رفع مبتدا. في محل رفع مبتدا. So why is ما مبني على السكون? As we said in the last lessons, that when a alif or the hamza has no haraka on it, it is considered sukun on it. Okay? So ما اسم استفهام مبني على السكون في محل رفع مبتدا. And I left the هذا so we can do it together. So let's do هذا together. So we'll have bracket first. So we do هذا. Okay. Because هذا is not a solid ism, is from the group of أسماء الإشارة. So you need to mention that هذا اسم إشارة. اسم إشارة أي اسم إشارة. Okay? We don't use alif lam with ismul isharati, okay? Because it's one of the, has to be nakira. Ismu isharatin. We say mabniyun, because we've learned the ismul ishara al mabni. So mabniyun on what? Ala. We see the alif at the end, so ala sukun. Ala sukun. Okay? Because this ismul ishara is taking a slot, it is taking a slot in the sentence. We say مبني على السكون في محل. So what is the slot? What is the slot in terms of اعراب? خبر is مرفوع, so في محل رفع. محل رفع. What it becomes, because we already have a مبتدا, it becomes خبر. This is what we have. All this. So copy it. Right. So now the اعراب of this جملة. ما هذا؟ ما اسم استفهام مبني على السكون في محل رفع مبتدأ. هذا اسم إشارة مبني على السكون في محل رفع خبر. Understand or understood when we have the small istifham in the jumla, when after a small istifham from the first group, if there is a nakira, or we can say if the khabar is nakira, so this small istifham will become mubtada. After small istifham, if is ma'rifa, then we can do two ways of i'rab. Make the small istifham a mubtada, or you can make it khabarun muqaddamun. For easy, for the sake of easy, we make it mubtada. Next, let's do one as human. Man, and let's use another type of ma'rifa. Let's use mu'arraf billam, if I'm correct. So, no. Ar-rajulu. Man ar-rajulu. We've learned when there is a two sukun comes together, you put a kasra. Ni ar-rajulu. Now after harf istifham, ismul istifham, and from the first group, there is a ma'rifa. Now we have two choices. Either we can make it asmal istifham, a mubtada, or khabarun muqaddamun. Let's look at the cave. An mubtada'un, rajulu khabarun. Okay, who is this? Okay, anyway, we have another example. Yeah. So after harf istifham, if we have ma'arifa. So because I have already translated in English, let's change that. هذا من هذا. So man is mubtada, هذا is khabarun. If you look at the اعراب again, من اسم استفهام مبني على السكون في محل رفع خبر مقدم. This time we are making a خبر مقدم. Why? Because after اسم استفهام there is a معرفة. And هذا, as we said, I just from the previous slide, just paste it, and we have it. فهذا اسم إشارة مبني على السكون. Now because we made it خبر مقدم, we made a خبر مقدم. Now what we have to make? اسم إشارة مبني على السكون في محل رفع مبتدأ. delayed. مبتدأ delayed. مؤخر. ده مؤخر. من اسم استفهام مبني على السكون في محل رفع خبر مقدم. هذا اسم إشارة مبني على السكون في محل رفع مبتدأ مؤخر. So we can do اعراب in both ways. So I showed you the both ways using ma, making that a mubtada, and using man, making the khabar muqaddamun. So we can even do this one the other way, Arab. So man اسم استفهام مبني على السكون في محل رفع مبتدا. هذا اسم إشارة مبني على السكون في محل رفع خبر. So both ways you can do Arab is correct. Right, understood so far? All right, so this is the end of lesson D. Again, if this is the first time, and if you did not understand, you need to watch this video again. Inshallah, you will understand. Yes, can we write both ways? Yes, as I said, you can write both ways. Again, for the simplicity, just make the first group mubtada for now, just for simplicity. And later on, we will look at the khabar muqaddamun and mubtada'un muakharun later on. So learn these, memorize these asma istifham. It is very useful. It comes in the Quran a lot, all of them. So yeah, so may Allah give us tawfiq. Inshallah, we'll see you in the next lesson. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.